U.S. tariffs have resulted in 30% fewer automobiles made in Canada. This deal could bring back some precious jobs, but it won't happen unless Hanwha wins the submarine contract. A united front to announce a new partner in a plan to strengthen the auto sector.
How Canada's auto sector can pivot.
The diversification plan now includes using Ontario steel to manufacture Hanwha's Howitzer K9 and other vehicles in Canada. The South Korean defense company has thousands of orders from 6 NATO countries for these armored vehicles. Making them in Canada could be an important lifeline for the hard-hit industry.
Something big is quietly happening in Canada, and most people have not noticed it yet. A major global company is ready to build deep ties with Canada, and one surprising partnership could help turn a struggling industry into a key part of the country's future. 3 of South Korea's most senior government officials flew to Vaughan, Ontario, and signed agreements at a Canadian auto parts manufacturing facility that nobody outside the defense procurement community had been watching closely. South Korea's presidential special envoy, the Minister of the Defense Acquisition Program Administration, and the Vice Minister of Trade, Industry, and Resources were all present at the signing at Martin Rea International. The occasion was the formal expansion of Hanwha Group's industrial commitment to Canada, contingent on winning the Canadian Patrol Submarine project, and it linked one of Canada's most financially stressed steel producers to a potential defense manufacturing supply chain that neither company could have built alone 2 years ago. The Canadian Patrol Submarine project is the most expensive defense procurement in Canadian history. Defense analysts have estimated the total life cycle value acquisition, sustainment, and support over the vessel's full operational lifespan at between $60 billion and $120 billion, with the acquisition cost alone estimated at $24 billion to $30 billion. Canada intends to buy 12 submarines. Prime Minister Carney stated last week that a decision between the 2 competing bids would be announced by the end of June 2026, ahead of the July 7th NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey. 2 bidders remain. Hanwha Ocean is offering Canada the KSS-3 Batch 2 submarine, a diesel-electric vessel that the South Korean Navy currently operates. The competing bid comes from Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, offering the Type 212 CD, a German-Norwegian diesel-electric submarine design. Both are conventional submarines. The decision Ottawa makes this month will determine which country becomes Canada's most significant defense industrial partner for the next 40 years. Hanwha's strategy in the final weeks before the announcement has been a systematic expansion of Canadian industrial commitments designed to make the case that the South Korean bid is not simply a defense purchase, but a comprehensive industrial partnership for the Canadian economy. Monday's signing at Martin Rea formalized a memorandum of understanding between Hanwha Group, Algoma Steel, and the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association, the most concrete and commercially specific industrial commitment Hanwha has yet made public. Under the agreement, Algoma Steel's Suit Suite Marie facility would supply military-grade steel for the manufacturing of armored vehicles in Canada. The arrangement completes a domestic value chain that Hanwha describes as running from raw material through component supply to final assembly entirely within Canada. Algoma provides the defense-grade steel. APMA member companies provide the parts manufacturing supply chain. Hanwha provides military, technology, and export market access. The joint venture consortium between APMA and Hanwha, established through a landmark agreement signed in late April 2026, features Canadian majority ownership, Canadian board membership, and a Canadian CEO. The 5 categories of military vehicles the consortium would build are documented: mobile howitzers, armored infantry vehicles, self-propelled artillery, drone ground vehicles, and logistics support platforms. The vehicles would be manufactured for the Canadian Armed Forces and for export to allied nations. KPMG's independent analysis estimates the full program could support an average of more than 25,000 full-time jobs annually and generate more than $100 billion in GDP impact between 2026 and 2044. Those figures reflect only the submarine program period and exclude the potential economic impact of the land vehicle manufacturing initiative, whose value is currently being assessed separately. Flavio Volpe, president of the APMA, said the signing of the agreements by such a high-level South Korean delegation sends a powerful signal that the Korean government is serious about building real, lasting capability here in Canada with Canadian companies. The timing of the announcement is inseparable from the condition of Canada's automotive sector. Canadian auto plants are manufacturing approximately 30% fewer vehicles this year compared to the prior year because of American tariffs on Canadian-made automobiles. The 25% Section 232 automotive tariff, combined with the uncertainty surrounding the CUSMA review, has created the most severe production contraction the Ontario auto manufacturing corridor has experienced since the 2008 to 2009 financial crisis. APMA estimates that the Hanwha Vehicle Manufacturing Consortium, covering 5 vehicle types with an estimated value of $10 billion over 2 years, represents economic activity equivalent to bringing one fully functional auto assembly plant to Canada. It's equivalent activity to bringing one fully functional auto assembly plant here, Volpe said. The German competing bid has its own documented economic promise. Germany's defense minister personally attended the CANSEC military trade show in Ottawa last week to advocate for the TKMS proposal. The TKMS bid includes the construction of maintenance and sustainment facilities on both Canada's east and west coasts for a 30 to 40-year operating period. The German government stated that the TKMS package of economic benefits would increase Canada's GDP by more than $86 billion over the lifespan of the submarines. South Korea has separately announced that it would import 3.4 billion tons of LNG annually, more than 5 times the current volume South Korea purchases from Canada as part of the broader bilateral relationship. Hanwha's bid is embedded within. The Algoma steel element of Monday's announcement carries significance beyond the submarine competition itself. Algoma reported a net loss of $159.4 million in Q1 2026. Revenue fell 42% year over year to $296.9 million in the same quarter, with direct tariff costs totaling $27.4 million. The company has been restructuring its commercial book away from American coil market exposure toward Canadian plate and defense steel applications. A binding MOU Algoma signed with Hanwha Ocean in January 2026 provided Algoma with up to $345 million, approximately $250 million, to support construction of a new structural steel beam mill in Sault Ste. Marie. Monday's expanded agreement connecting Algoma's steel to Hanwha's armored vehicle manufacturing chain adds a second separate commercial stream to the Algoma-Hanwha relationship that was not part of the January arrangement. The federal government has been clear to both bidders that industrial benefits to Canada's automotive, steel, and manufacturing sectors were a required component of any bid package. Hanwha's June 1st signing with APMA and Algoma at Martinrea International in Vaughan, with 3 senior South Korean government officials present, is the most public and specific demonstration of compliance with that requirement that either bidder has delivered.